In O.G Reload, mobility is significantly restricted, thus enhancing a more organic feel with movement. Unlike Fortnite Wrecked, where you're given an array of tools for a quick escape. Yeah, those get out of jail free cards are few and far, leaving you prone to get your camera broke. Thank goodness I created a guide that not only teaches you how to protect your camera, but also empowers you to go out there and break some cameras of your own. It's not what it looks like. That's a clip of, my sister. Anywho, we're gonna start things off with the basics by disrupting visual audio. As soon as I launch from a crash pad, I blindside an enemy with a Ranger shotgun. My intended target likely only saw my feet for a millisecond and has no clue where that shot came from or where I am. This buys me time to reload my shotty and strike once again. Another stealthy trick to fool an opponent is if you engage into a slide 20 meters out from your target. This will keep you off their visual radar until you get up from a crouching position. Branching even further out with the sliding mechanisms is a simple yet effective technique called strafe aiming. The idea here is to make a lateral slide until your crosshairs align at or near your target. Then cancel the slide to stop your crosshairs from moving. When done correctly, your crosshairs should line up with the enemy, outside of tiny micro adjustments you'll sometimes come across. Next up are misdirection slides. I seldom pre-plan such a strategic maneuver. Instead, if my initial move overshoots my target, it means my crosshairs need macro adjustments. But if I immediately cut back in a counter direction, I can easily stabilize my crosshairs.
Wow.
And break my opponent's camera in the process. In honor of O.G Reload, I want to journey back to the oldest trick in the book, a bunny hop. The next silly rabbit that tries to pull this outdated on you, I want you to sprint forward, then hook towards their offhand. This replaces a traditional turnaround with something more deceptive that not only dodges enemy fire, but optimizes your position for a counterattack. Let's take it a step further now and journey to an era of ancient military tactics, when the OG Sun Tzu published The Art of War. In this timeless work, he discusses the Fain Retreat, a cunning combat strategy that remains in use to this day. The idea behind a feigned retreat is to bait the enemy that you're exiting a fight, only to maneuver back into battle as they attempt to thirst you. In order to master this technique, you have to know where the blind spots are within your surroundings, as these spots are where you need to be anytime you pivot back to the offensive. Once you become a master at identifying blind spots, you can take it a step further with something that I call phantom sliding. For instance, I'm well aware a team is above us, so by using visual and sound cues, I time a slide past our blind spot just as they drop down on us. These kinds of moves are so deceptive, they're almost impossible to counter. Now before we wrap things up, I want to briefly discuss a technique that I call shotty strafing. A lot of people still think autos are the only shotgun that you don't have to swap from in between shots. This couldn't be further from the truth. Certain scenarios will better benefit you if you use the delay between shots to hit a move on your opponent. For instance, this guy really thinks he has me pinned down with his AR. By using an evasive zigzag maneuver that I call a Euro slide, I'm able to keep their tracking off balance while unloading rounds in between each direction I pull. Now doing this with a pump shotty is obviously more difficult, but even if you're swapping to an AR or SMG, the same rules can apply by hitting a move in between your swap. But that about wraps things up from here. As always, thank you guys for watching, and be sure to follow for more tips from Clip.